This is by far one of the most exciting weeks in pro wrestling, and I'm bringing you the latest coverage, also analysis on a daily basis, 7 days a week. Today, we are talking about a ROH Supercard of Honor surprise debut, plus a new heel faction set to be revealed. Also, legendary commentator, is he coming back? What is the word there? Also, Impact Wrestling re-signing one of their guys. We got a lot to talk about. If you guys want to join in on the conversation, feel free to do so, whether it's in the comment section down below or maybe even in the Discord, whatever you feel is best for you. Join in on the conversation today. Let's kick things off with Ace Austin. If you guys don't know who Ace Austin is, he has been doing some incredible work in Impact Wrestling. A lot of people don't know that there had been a lot of interest in Ace Austin, not only, from Impact, but pretty much every company at this point. It appears that he will be staying with the company. Totally makes sense. He fits in very well. He announced with Sportskeeda that he has signed a multi-year deal with Impact, and this is largely due to the backstage environment. It's something that he's very high on. Now, the reason why I actually want to talk about this is because Impact has a different strategy when it comes to signings. And obviously, WrestleMania weekend, there might be some surprises at the Multiverse of Matches event with WrestleCon, but for the most part, there is this belief that Impact is really trying to sign notable indie names without having to sign the most expensive free agents. It looks like they're trying to develop and craft their own stars versus bringing in a huge amount of already noticeable names. Also, just looking at the freedom that Impact gives some of their stars, Matt Cardona, Chelsea Green, obviously having a really big run. Moose, Josh Alexander. As a fan of Impact, I'm excited about this. I think Ace Austin has been absolutely awesome, and I'm very curious to see what his future looks like. I do believe he could be a world champion at some point. I think time will tell, but just letting you guys know, he has re-signed, and this is a very good move. Now, speaking of Impact Wrestling, you guys might remember Mike Tenay, obviously a legend when it comes to pro wrestling, had some very big moments in WCW, TNA. Just a couple years ago, he retired. Now, Wrestling Observer Newsletter dropped some news that Tenay has actually received multiple offers to come out of retirement. MLW and GCW have both offered him a possible role in the booth. And WWE has actually offered Mike Tenay an option to work with them on documentaries. Now, according to this report, it appears that Mike Tenay has actually shut down all of these offers. It doesn't appear that he actually needs any sort of money. It seems like he's doing pretty well off financially. And so he's not really interested in coming back. Now, that doesn't mean he'll ever rule out a return. He just feels like these weren't the right time. And it's not the right place. So, who knows what the hell will happen with Mike Tenay. I really think Mike Tenay has been an incredible commentator. Some of the greatest moments in TNA, I think, when you look back at the history there, Mike Tenay was calling the action. So just some really, really cool stuff. Obviously, WWE possibly working with him would have been very interesting. Even AEW, I don't know if AEW made an offer, but it's just something to consider. Obviously, there's a lot of legends in commentary. And, when you look at AEW's commentary, for example, I'm just curious what it would sound like with Jim Ross and Mike Tenay. That would be a very interesting idea as well. But for right now, it appears that he's not coming back and he has shut down these offers. All right, guys, now we got to get into some of the big stuff, the big stories. WWE is reportedly working on a new creative pitch that would see Edge lead a new heel stable. And this could potentially happen very, very soon. There has been a pitch that has been talked about heavily from creative that would include Edge going heel. There are several names that are notable that have been discussed in the group, and one of those names include Damian Priest. This was a report coming from Fightful Select today. Obviously, when you look at Edge and his heel turn, there's a lot of young up-and-comers on the roster that could be utilized in a situation like this where they can definitely get over. They can definitely utilize that TV time. Damian Priest was incredibly booked from NXT to Monday Night Raw, being the U.S. champion, held it for a while. I don't think WWE has ever screwed up the booking decision to have Damian Priest. Now, the interesting thing here is when I think of other potential members, there's nobody, there's a lot of people you can choose from, but there's nobody in my mind, that totally makes sense based on this new look of Edge, right? Edge is a lot more dark and cryptic now. Priest is definitely going that route. For some reason, nobody comes to mind here. But the idea that WWE is planning on doing something imminently could very well change my prediction. I believed AJ Styles beating Edge would make the most sense. But if you look at WrestleMania and you really, really want to make a big splash, having this heel faction debut on night 2 could be very, very big. Plus, you got Raw after WrestleMania if you want to save it till then. But I'm really glad that WWE seems to be stepping it up. If you guys missed it in the last video, WWE is starting to step it up also with how they treat their talent and allowing them to make more money outside of WWE. So it just seems like right now there's a little bit of momentum with WWE. Obviously, there's momentum with AEW and Impact and now ROH. Wrestling is really good. We got to talk about ROH. Fightful dropped another report. It has been reported that Brian Cage is reportedly backstage at Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. And this is really exciting. So they were specifically told to expect something significant, being told that it is going to be one of the better post-show scrums for the AEW ROH era. So this is really, really huge. Obviously, Brian Cage talked about having some sort of plans, but he didn't really know. They didn't really disclose much. Brian Cage going to ROH, breaking away from AEW could be a very interesting choice. I think Tony Khan definitely wants to use him. I'm not sure what they may have planned here. There was supposed to be a match with Ninja Mac having a surprise opponent that would see a new client for Tully Blanchard. I predicted it would be Cesaro. Now, there was also a match that was announced that they technically haven't confirmed, but it was Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry was supposed to compete. They haven't technically confirmed if that's still going to happen. But if Ninja Mac versus Cesaro, I don't know if I would put Tully Blanchard and Brian Cage together. That to me seems very likely, but I would prefer Cesaro and Tully Blanchard if I'm being honest. But if I'm AEW and I have Joe Hendry on the show, I would just have Brian Cage debut and then he could be part of this. I don't know. Clearly something very big is happening. ROH Supercard of Honor. I love surprises. I love playing the guessing game, but the idea that Brian Cage is backstage is obviously a massive and important part of the show. For those who don't know, April 1st, 2022, Brian Cage, Supercard of Honor. It's taking place at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't know how long it's going to go, but the media scrums will be happening afterwards, just like an AEW pay-per-view. This should be really exciting. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time. And by the way, don't forget, we do have the live show not only after Supercard of Honor, but then also WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. So yeah, don't forget about that. I'll see you guys next time.